Hi everyone, Lofi here. Today I want to talk about Shoko Smile by Choi Eun-young. Shoko Smile is a collection of short stories. Well, I'm not usually a short story kind of guy, but this book, the short stories in it is very dense and there are a lot you can take from the stories. Unlike most of the short stories that I've read, which is usually feels like there's nothing happening at all or it feels very rushed. The short stories in Shoko Smile is just at the right amount of length that it feels more like a complete story than something that is just thrown out because it's unfinished and you might as well use it as a short story. Each of the story, each of the characters is very memorable. The stories are a well-balanced writing in between the personal life of the characters and the political aspect of where the character lives. It's a well-balanced writing that blends between the personal life of the characters and also the political aspect where they live at or the era where they live at. It did a really good job that a lot of big corporations, for example like Disney, where they try to do something and it feels very dishonest and performative, but in these short stories it's often it's done so well that it doesn't feel like someone is trying to choke you by spoon feeding you with its messages. It's really good. Shoko Smile, for example, is a short story about two girls, one is from Korea and one from Japan. They met when the Japanese girl moved as a student exchange to Korea because this is when the first time the Japan ban was lifted in Korea, and Shoko got the chance to live there. The connection that these two girls made, that is not strangers but also not exactly friends, is such an interesting dynamic, and we follow these two girls and when they met in their high school until their adulthood. Then Shinsao is a story about a Korean girl that is reminiscing about her past when in German she had this really close relationship with her Vietnam neighbors, and then because of an argument about the Vietnam War and the involvement of the Korean itself in the war. And the story of My Little Sonny, where two girls met and they are really much more closer than just a friend, they're basically sister. And how this really close bond eventually becomes apart because one of the other girls got married and then her husband got involved in the Red Scare. The Red Scare is where basically Korean is capturing their own people, their innocent people, because of a suspicion of their involvement with North Korea. This suspicion is basically just very silly things like maybe one is reading newspaper too much. That can become suspicion. But yeah, these are the types of story that you can get from Shoko Smile. There's a bittersweetness in each of them, and the theme is very clear with these meetings and parting, which is just something that everyone will eventually have to face. It's a really great coming of age story. It condensed a lifetime of experience and then put them in these short stories. And to do this without them feeling too rushed and without losing the quality of the writing, I think the author did a fantastic job in this book. And all of that is backed by the quality of the prose-like writing and also the translation done by Suryu. I think he did a really great job also in translating Shoko Smile. If you're a fan of the kind of stories that I just told you about, there are more of it in the books, and I think Choi Eun-young is definitely an author you need to look forward for because this is her debut work. And just from her debut work, her talent shines more than a lot of the veteran writers that I've read. I think it's really amazing how she managed to makes such a memorable story and such a memorable characters in these short stories that even long-term storytelling often fail to do. You can feel from the story how the meeting and partings of each of the characters is very unique and how they feel very insignificant to their life, but also at the same time very impactful to this character's life. Shoko Smile has a lot of story that will make you a little bit sadder when you're reading it, but I think eventually as it becomes a memory that you can recall back, it is the kind of story that will put a smile on your face. I highly recommend it. It's a 5-star recommendation for me despite it being a short story. I think it's the first short story that I give 5 stars, and hopefully one day I also read another short story kind of book that has the same quality as this one. That's about it.